Man, I go to the showers one day without my boy. They beat the shit out of me. Butt ass naked, bro. They came in fully clothed. One of them tried to all fucking gay, bro.
Right,
like,
yeah.
what's wrong with you?
Know.
Got a moment when they see you down, there's no they love it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me today, so why don't you just tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name's Troy Maloney. I'm originally from East Boston. I live in New Hampshire now. Just a city kid growing up in East Boston, Winthrop, North Shore area. Just went through it like everybody else did. I just want to get my story out there and try and help somebody else.
So why don't you give us a brief rundown of what like your lockup history has been? How much time did you do? Where were you at? How long you been out?
I just wrapped up a 5-year bid upstate in Mass, and before that I was like in and out of jail and county and stuff like from I was like 19, I think, like right after I got out of high school.
You did juvenile time and everything as well?
Yeah, I was in Harvard Street, which I don't even think is there anymore, down in Dorchester.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It might be.
Spectrum,
that's where I was,
I think
yeah.
it's Spectrum or something now.
I think it's the same place, though, the Harvard Street.
Yeah,
right
it's
by
been
the
there
projects.
forever.
Yeah.
That was like a couple months. My parents were going through like a tough time, and they were getting divorced, and it was kind of hard on me and my brother, and I dropped out in 11th grade, and then I just hit the ground running. I really never got into like everybody around me, because I was like 18, was like doing drugs and stuff, and perk 30s and OC 80s and stuff were big, and I never got into that, but I drank a lot.
Okay, yeah.
I drank a lot. I had a bad drinking
Was
problem.
that kind of what led to a lot of these arrests? Drinking, was that a big part of that?
It's
or?
funny you say that, because that's a really good question. Me and my mother were talking about this. Every time I drank, I got in some sort of trouble.
Wow.
And when I didn't drink, trouble just never happened. So like it's weird, because I didn't drink a lot when I was like in my younger teens and like early 20s, but like when I drank too much.
Yeah.
So like I drink on the weekends or something like that, and I was hanging out with a bunch of kids from East Boston at the time before I moved up north. They were all like fucking sniffing bangers and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And I like wasn't really into it. Like I'd sniff coke like here and there, you know what I mean? But like everyone experiments and stuff, but I never really got into it. But when I drank, I never remembered what happened.
Yeah, so you weren't the type that like drank daily, but when you did drink, it was usually came with some issues.
Yeah, always.
So what was 5 years? Was that the longest time you did straight?
Straight, yeah.
And how long? When did you get out?
April 14th, 2022. I went in the day after St. Patrick's Day in 2017.
Okay, so what are kind of some of the obstacles that you faced since you've been out?
The biggest obstacle I faced and I'm still facing, is the Massachusetts RMV. That's a big one. Before I went in, I had like stupid stuff on my driving record, and it just kept adding up, and they kept hitting me with reinstatement fees, and they want it all at once. It's like $9,000 or something like that. That's been the biggest obstacle, is trying to get my license back, and it's literally just a matter of paying money. It's weird, because a lot of other states you can make payment plans on reinstatement fees. I guess reinstatement fees and fines are completely different. They basically haven't implemented what other, like in New Hampshire, like if you have reinstatement fees, because that's what actually releases the hold on your license, that I guess in Mass they have it set up so the first time something's paid, it lifts it. So if you made payment plans in Mass, they would have to implement a system that other states have for them to be able to not release it until the full amounts due. You know what I mean? And they just, bro, I went to the registry in Revere the first week I got out a couple of years ago, and I had like a little over $3,000. I went to go pay it, and they denied me. Wow. And then from then on, I just have started a war with the registry. I've emailed, and been in contact with news stations recently. I emailed the president, everybody in D.C., the attorney general's office, all my state senators and people in the state office, like just trying to get it out there.
So what was it initially? Was it just fine, like driving with a suspended?
I got an OUI when I was 19.
Okay.
And when they suspended my license, I never stopped driving. And I was stupid and young at the time, so like I didn't really think about repercussions. But then as I got older and I had to drive for work and stuff like that, like I just was like, I never had the money to pay anything, so I just kept driving, and then I'd get pulled over for like stupid stuff. Like,
so it kind of feels like it's like quite the conundrum, right? Because you want to pay this off, but yet you don't have a license to get to and from work and all of that. Like what? Like
their way of seeing of looking at it is like so. I was in contact with Colleen Ogilvie. She's the head of the RMV in Mass now, and she basically makes it seem like, oh, just save the money. It's like, all right, I got to save money, but in order to save money and have money, you got to work. And I live in New Hampshire now. There's not a lot of public transportation where I specifically live. So in order to make that money, you got to get to work. In order to get to work, you need to have a license to drive. You know what I mean? And then I got 2 kids. So it's just like one wall after another. You just keep hitting. Yeah. And it's I just had court the other day in New Hampshire. Got dismissed, but the judge told me, like, I don't know why Mass doesn't implement what New Hampshire has for payment plans, because like the world that we live in today is like he felt for me. You know what I mean? Like he
was a driving case. I take it. That's why he dismissed it.
It got dismissed, but he literally dismissed it. He was like, I understand what you're going through, and I understand that at some point you're going to have to take a risk because, and especially in your line, I'm an equipment operator. You know what I mean? So it's like blue collar stuff, and it's like 90% of the places near me are super far to drive to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got lucky. You know what I mean? I mean, that judge just happened to see me as not a piece of paper at that certain time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's another big obstacle is like everybody's got to pass. Like I got to pass. Like you know what I mean? I went upstate. I mean, anyone can Google this and look it up. I mean, I was all over the news. Yeah. I tried to burn this kid's house down in Haverhill.
Oh, jeez.
It was my ex's at the time, ex-boyfriend, and we went out and got drunk one night, me and her, and he was calling my phone, leaving me voicemails, threatening my mother's life and my son's life and stuff, and I just got blackout drunk and was like, where's he live?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Type of shit. And then he ended up testifying against me and stuff, and
damn.
I mean, I was a stupid criminal anyways. I was shit-faced. I left a gas can at the scene.
But, I mean, here you are trying to better yourself, you know what I mean? Work, do things legally, and it's like you have all these obstacles and these walls that it's like they make it tough on purpose.
And it's crazy because when you're upstate, like, I wrapped up my bid in Gardner, and MCI-GARDNER, and they have a reentry plan. It's supposed to be like one of the best programs in the state system is at that specific camp. You know, people like get transferred there to go there.
Bro.
And they make it seem like, oh yeah, when you get out, like we're gonna help you do this, and this. And I mentioned the license thing, and they said, yeah, we'll help you get it back. You get out, you call all these people, nothing ever happens.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's like they didn't help me with anything.
Wow. So how do you get this changed? Is it like a law that has to be changed, or you got to kind of just take it as a L?
So that's the thing, is that it's a state law, but federally, if you look it up, I forget what the law is, but federally, when it comes to payments for reinstatement fees, there's not a law for it. Mm-hmm. So they would either have to change it or make a special like position or something for like me to be able to do it. But I'm not the only one that's struggling with that.
Well,
There's
I mean,
no
all these
way.
Politicians scream. No, I've had a guest on that did like 30 years, and he was like not even in the system. It was like 8 months for him just to get an identification.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. But it's like these politicians, they want to, claim reform, but then they don't put in no policies that actually help. My dad couldn't get his because of child support forever. My mom got a piece of mail one day, just signed it for him, but it was like 20 years without a driver's license.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the thing, is that these politicians the Republicans try to like do stuff and help as much as they can, but like people don't understand, like these politicians like have so much power,
right?
And all it takes is that one good guy that understands and like can see you for not a piece of paper, because a lot of them, right, you give them your information and ask them to help you with something, they're gonna look you up and they judge you immediately by a piece of paper. It's like, that's not who I am. Have a conversation with me. You know what I mean?
And that's why I do this podcast too, to humanize these stories. Like you said, we're not just this record.
All I need is that one politician or one person of power to be like, you know what, like, let's see how many other people owe over a certain amount and how many other people are struggling with this, and I guarantee you there's more than just me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they just gotta be that voice to like say something, like, you know what I mean, like whether they make a payment plan or it goes up the chain so far as to the pardon attorney in DC, like they can say, hey, listen, like, wipe this kid's driving record, like give him his license back.
Hate it or love it, whatever Trump is doing, he's showing you that things can get done, right?
Exactly.
Whatever the policies, hate it or love it, they can do stuff. So when they don't do stuff, now it all seems funny, because
it's like, when they sit, this is what gets me. Like,
they run a whole campaign on certain things and don't even do it.
Somebody from the state office emailed me yesterday. 3 people did. One person's actually helping me, or trying to see what they can do, which is better than what I've been getting. One person was like, oh, I don't have the power to do that. It's like, we can't change anything about that. It's like, no, wait a minute, you literally can.
Right.
Like, all you have to do is make sure the right person hears it. Like, the president can change anything.
Yeah.
Like, and he literally has, even the attorney general can change anything. Anybody that's up there, you know what I mean? Like, and I like Trump. I like what he's doing and stuff. But those are the people that like, and it's crazy, because I think sometimes it's like, yo, if Trump saw the letter that I wrote and read it, he'd probably help.
I think sometimes they don't know like certain stuff, because some things might, like for instance, like my brother's a diabetic, right? He gets in trouble in prison, in jail. You get on canteen restrictions.
Yeah.
Well, that affects his blood sugar. That almost seems like that should be illegal. To me, I don't know. It's just probably a real niche thing, and maybe people aren't aware. But sometimes maybe a lot of things get overlooked in the process.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is one of those things where it's like you get enough people to look at it and try to make sense
of it. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And that's the other thing is things get overlooked, but not because they're trying to ignore it. It's because, like, do you think the president or any of these senators actually view their own emails?
And there's infinite situations that can happen.
Yeah,
and
like
just, you can't think of everything. You can't think of everything.
Yeah, their secretaries are the ones that are like, okay, like, let's go through this, and it goes through a whole chain. Like, all right, are we gonna let him read this one? Are we gonna, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like he doesn't go home and sit in bed at night and look at his emails, or anyone of power like that at that level. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, it's a matter of getting enough people to start talking about it and have someone hear it, and then it's all word of mouth, really. Chain of command.
So I want to rewind it a little bit and kind of lead up to where we're at now. So talk a little bit about growing up in East Boston. What was that like?
So I lived in East Boston till I was 11 or 12, and then I moved across the bridge, Winthrop, and I went to school in Winthrop. I was raised Irish Italian mainly. My grandparents lived across the street from me. My grandfather was like a big time like person in East Boston, in the Revere area. My family owns a big funeral home, and he was connected, you know what I mean? So like, he knew everybody. He was friends with like some serious people from like back in the old days, and I really like had it made like as a kid. Like, I got everything I wanted. I was spoiled. You know what I mean? Like, my grandparents spoiled me a lot. My mom was a really good mom. She tried. But I mean, I went through my own my traumas and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I had an abusive father. He beat the shit out of me a couple times, like really bad, where I went to the hospital.
Wow. My
mom stayed because like that was the American like tradition. It was bad. Most of my uncles were decent to me. I was molested when I was 8 by one of my uncles.
Wow.
And my dad didn't believe me. My mom did.
Yeah.
My grandfather got involved. That fucked me up really bad, like growing up, because like your uncle's supposed to protect you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people you trust.
And I think that's when like I had the turning point in my brain, because like from that point on in school, like I couldn't retain anything. Like I couldn't pay attention. Like I think it's because it was always on my mind, but I didn't know it because I was still young.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time like how bad it was. Fast forward real quick to like when you're upstate or even in prison, like people that touch kids like get f***ed up. Like upstate, like their skin is like, you don't talk to them. You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't know that when I was a kid. I knew it was wrong, but like I don't know. It fucked me up though. Damn, it fucked me up talking about it.
I mean, that's a traumatic thing to go through,
Yeah.
man. And I don't think no kid should ever have to go through that. But unfortunately, you know, this world we live in, I think there's evil out there, and you know, we gotta kind of just do what we gotta do on the righteous path. That's how I look at it moving forward, and try to be a positive person and add value to this world. You know what I mean? Because I feel like with all the evil out there, somebody gotta do something positive. You know what I mean? And to bounce back from that is a incredible thing, man. And
That's what I'm trying to do.
it's tougher to talk about as a boy because you don't really think of it happening to boys, but it does.
Growing up as a boy in general, like you're taught to be a man, you know what I mean? To not express your feelings and stuff like that. Like I was raised like aside from that, like when my dad was good, he was good. Like you know what I mean? But like him and my uncle were like thick as thieves, and he would never think anything bad. He would do anything bad. It was just fucked up because it's like, you're my dad, you're supposed to protect me, and you're over here like putting me in the hospital, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was fucked up.
Yeah, and a lot of times too is just because, you know, we're male and we eventually become men. At that time, you're still a child.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's different.
And you don't want to talk about that stuff to other guys, you know what I mean? Or let alone anybody sometimes.
I mean, what advice would you give to someone going through that, right? Like, say that's pretty fresh to them, man. Like a little kid, right?
If that's happening to you and you're watching this, you need to take a step back, realize that it's wrong if you don't know that it's wrong, and talk to somebody. You got to tell somebody, because that could affect you your entire life. Like I'm 34 years old, it still affects me. You know? And I got kids now, so it's like and one of my kids is around the ages that happened to me, so it's like
wow.
It's scary because, bro, I've seen people kill themselves over it. You know what I mean? You don't got to do that. You can talk to this. There's hundreds of thousands of people out there that it's happened to that still don't talk about it. Yeah. And it messes your life up big time.
And I'm sure it's something that sticks with you forever.
Yeah, it made a lot of things, sexual things, as I was growing up, uncomfortable. Like I didn't know what was right and what was wrong. Like it was weird. Like you know what I mean? So it fucks you up.
I mean, do you think that's part of the reason that you went kind of down a path you went down with getting locked up and then
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I never thought about anything that I did before I did it, which a lot of people that are younger don't. And every time I'd get locked up, that would always surface in my mind and be something that I would think about. Yeah. Like, I would say to myself, like, oh, it's not as bad as what happened to me when I was little. You know what I mean? Like, if I survived that, like, I can survive this. But, like, at the same time, like, was that me crying out to myself that I need to talk to somebody about? That was before anybody ever knew. You know what I mean? Like, even just recently, I didn't tell my mother until, like, I didn't even tell her when I was a kid. But I didn't tell my mom until, like, my 3rd year upstate.
Really? Okay, so I didn't know that. The way I took it was you told them when you were younger.
No, I told my dad.
Okay, when you were younger.
I told my dad one-on-one, and he basically like shrugged it off, like no, it didn't. And it continued to happen till I was. Was
it something where he said to don't say 11, anything like that?
12. Or? Yeah, he was like, don't say that. He was like, uncle would never do that. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, wow. And it was. I told him that one time and then 3 other times, and then he stopped. He just ignored it, and I was like, "This whatever." Like
being so young too. Like how did that affect you? Like at school, did you start to misbehave? You getting kicked out, suspended? Any fights? Like what's?
I got expelled from Winthrop High School. Then they let me come back, but like at that point, like I wasn't paying attention to anything. Like I got into mad fights when I was in high school and middle school. I hung out with like everybody. So like I was really like, I don't know, me and my brothers, I got an older brother, Ryan, and my younger brother, Tyler. And my older brother was like, everyone loved him. So like nobody really messed with me when I was in middle school. But when I got into high school, it was people doing drugs and stuff like that. And everybody was drinking at parties.
Yeah.
I used to always go to football games and stuff. But yeah, I got into a lot of fights when I was younger.
So at what point did you go to DYS? Were you still in high school?
Yeah, it was my sophomore. Yeah, I was 15, 16. Yeah, it was my sophomore year.
How long were you in DYS for?
Like 3 months.
Okay. Well, I mean, what was that experience like?
Honestly, it felt normal.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like I was in school. I just didn't go home after.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was all the staff and stuff were wicked cool there, and like I don't know, it was chill. Like I was there at like I had like some of my boys that were there like went through crazy shit. Like
yeah.
Mark, for instance. You know what I mean? Mort Beasy. Shout out Mort.
Yeah, big time.
He was there right before I was there, and it was wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, I don't know, it was weird. Like I just went there when there was a different group of people there, I guess.
So then you come out
and I think that's the problem, is that it didn't really affect me.
Yeah. Yep.
So like I was like, oh, like jail ain't that bad. You know what I mean?
Right. It normalizes it and it makes it seem like you said, it's not that bad. So
yeah,
you just
so
kind
it's
of
like,
move
oh,
different.
whatever. If I get in trouble, I can handle it. You know what I mean?
So you go back to high school. Do you end up graduating high school?
No, I dropped out the summer going into senior year.
Okay, what was the plan with that? You drop out? Did you have a job? What are you gonna like? What's going on in your life?
I did have a job. I worked for my grandfather's funeral home, Vases in Revere, and it was in East Boston too, but it's not there anymore. But it was. I got handed everything from my grandparents.
Yeah.
Like after my grandfather found out that my dad was beating me and my brothers, he took me, like, because I was the older one. He took me and was like, you're coming with me to work every day from like when I was little. And I never thought to tell my grandfather about what my uncle was doing, because my grandfather was scary. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I watched him stick a gun in my father's mouth. You know what I mean? Like, one time when
was
we
that
went there
your
with
mom?
bruises
Your
on.
mom's dad?
No, it was my mom's mother's husband.
Oh, okay.
But that was my papa growing
Right.
up.
I got
you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, not even blood, and like I knew that when I was a kid, and like I used to watch him like stick up for me to my dad, and my dad used to be scared of him, and like come to find out, my grandfather's dead now, but like he was connected with like serious people, so like that's why my father was afraid of him.
Yeah, I got you.
But it was a mix between knowing that I could get away with stuff and my parents getting divorced, and they were always fighting and stuff my whole life. Like it was just traumatic. But like we put on that face of like being a happy family, you know what I mean? But and my mom went through a lot with my dad.
Wow.
But it was I think it was a lot of like all of the trauma that was happening compiling up all at once, and then I was just like, fuck this, I'm not going to school anymore.
Were there other members of your family getting locked up before you? Was that normal in your family, or were you kind of the outcast with that? When
No,
that started
actually,
happening?
which is crazy you say that, because I was thinking about that the other day. No one ever went to jail until me. Yeah, no one. But then it was weird. After me, my dad started getting locked up, and my older brother started getting locked up.
Wow.
So it was wicked weird. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? My little brother, Tyler, he's never been in trouble, like real trouble.
That's like my little brother.
And it scares me, like when something happens and he does, like, because he drinks, and he's a big kid. Like, he's a big kid. And I'm the runt of the family. But when he drinks, he, like, thinks he has, like, balls of steel. And I'm like, bro, Tyler, you would never last a day in prison. Like, you cannot get in trouble.
Yeah, plus it's just not a place you want to be. Even if you
no
can
one
last,
wants to go there. No one wants to go there.
Kane, what's his name? Kane, the UFC fighter, Kane Velasquez.
Velasquez, yeah.
He just got 5 years. I'm sure he's not scared of getting beat up.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's the mental torture.
It's
More than
all
anything.
mental.
Yeah,
it's all
99%.
99% mental. If
Yeah,
you
that's a
can't
big-
mentally stabilize your mind while you're in prison, and stop trying to control the things you have no control over, you're gonna either kill yourself, you're gonna become a victim, or you're gonna drive yourself literally insane.
And that's
you know what I
easier
mean?
said than done. Coming from me, like I did a small state bid. I did 4 years straight was the longest I did, and that was peanuts compared to people I'm coming in with talking
exactly.
about. You know what I mean? So it's tough for people. I can only imagine doing 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. I mean, it's just woof, man. So hopefully, that's why we're trying to tell these stories for the next generation could probably hear what we go through, hear about the risks and how close we may have come to doing life or getting killed or dying or anything, and they can learn from it.
That's the biggest thing is because like these kids nowadays have no idea like what it was like when we were kids, and like and like I'm not even that old, like, you know what I mean, like I'm 34, so it's not like it's like there's so many people, like all these kids on social media, like, bro, if you're struggling with something, like hit one of us up that you see on one of these podcasts, or somebody that you see is helping somebody else, like out of the goodness of like message somebody, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like try and get through to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people message me, I messaged them back, and they were kind of just like, I can't believe you messaged me back. I'm like, of course. You know
that's the whole point of doing this, is to help other people.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Let's talk about when you first started getting involved with the adult system, right? You did the juvenile thing. What was your first arrest as an adult? What happens?
I threw a brick at some kid down Maverick Station in East Boston.
Okay. What was the story behind that? Was that another thing, drinking incident?
Yeah, I was definitely highly intoxicated. I was hanging out.
No, I can relate to a lot of the drinking part, bro. I've been arrested for the stupidest stuff when I was younger.
I was hanging out with these kids that I knew were troublemakers, but I didn't care. Like, I wanted to be the cool kid, you know what I mean? And I wasn't at all. I don't know. This kid was yelling across the street to one of the kids that I was hanging out with. We were all trashed.
You just carrying bricks around?
No, they were doing construction on Maverick Station in East Boston.
It just always works like that. It seems
there
like
was
big
a bunch
brawl
of bricks and cinder blocks and shit on the ground. So like, I just like, the kid was like probably 10 feet away.
Yeah.
In the street on the other side, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck did he say? I think he called my boy something. I think he called him a bitch or something like that. And I just heard like the insult, and I just like, I picked up a brick, just tossed it at him.
Did it hit him?
Right in the head.
Oh, damn.
Right in the dome piece.
Did he go
split
down?
His shit open. Yeah, he went down. He fell on the ground. He went to a hospital.
So you cracked him pretty good. Like, what was the charges? What they charge you with?
Assault and battery with a deadly weapon. Assault and battery with the intent to harm a civilian or something like that, and I think that was it.
I'm surprised they didn't try to hit you with the attempted murder.
A domestic dispute, domestic assault or something like that. But it all got dropped down to the only thing that stuck was the assault and battery with
so that stayed
weapon.
In district court? Did you?
No, it stayed in district court. That was the first time I'd ever been arrested, like aside from my juvenile stuff.
So what comes of that? Do you get probation?
No, so I got 3 years probation, violated the first month. Went to Nashua Street. I don't even remember. I think I didn't check in.
Oh, jeez. You missed the first.
I think I just didn't check in.
Okay, so a lot of people say, probation or whatever is a setup and stuff. But if that's your mindset where you're not checking in, I mean, it probably makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like, as opposed to doing the right thing. 'Cause I finally completed a probation myself, and it was pretty easy when I wasn't breaking the law.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? It definitely can be a setup. I think that's on a case-to-case basis, though.
For sure.
I think
it matters who the PO is.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah,
100%. Like, there's a lot of factors that come in. So it's funny you just said about it matters who the PO is. So I didn't like my PO. So I went to Nashua Street for 30 days. He let me out. He violated me again. They didn't send me away. They extended my probation for a year. Mm-hmm. And then he retired, and I got a new probation officer, and she was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she was understanding about stuff. She gave me her cell phone number, which POs don't usually do sometimes. And like, whenever I was stressed out, I'd call her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she violated me mad times. Right. She sent me away mad times. But like, every time she did, like, she explained to me like I'm there. Like, you've used my outlet before to talk to, and like, tell me if you did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't use it sometimes. Yeah. So, but then over time, she her name was Francine Hammersley. She's retired now too, I think. But over time, as I got older, I was like, I can't keep doing this, bro. I was like, I can't keep
It
doing
gets old.
this. And I started just doing good. And she ended up releasing me early on my my
nice.
probation. And to this day, I still have like somewhat contact with her. Like,
Was this Superior Court probation?
No, it was
district?
East Boston District.
Okay.
And whenever I see her, she's like, always gives me a hug. She's like, I'm so happy, like, you're staying on the straight and narrow and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And but yeah, definitely the fact is, probation could be a setup, but you almost make it the setup if you don't.
I mean, even if you have a good PO, there's only so much they can do.
Exactly.
Too. You know what I mean?
Like, there's gonna become a time where you cross the line, and it's like, now is it not you making these choices? You know what I mean?
I had a PO that I was on probation. Pretty sure I had a suspended sentence. Caught a stupid case, bailed out. So now I got an open case, probation, violation. I caught an attempted murder case, and my PO still didn't violate me. He just kept continuing the violation. Yeah, because it didn't even end up going to Superior Court, right? Because he's like, well, he's like, dude, this case looks like, I'm not going to violate you. And then eventually the case got dismissed and I got out, and then I had to be like on house arrest and do a program for the other thing, which I ended up violating. You know what I mean? I took that chance, messed it up. Was supposed to go to a halfway house. I was like,
who doesn't?
Yeah, I'm like, nah, send me to Bill Rick. I'll be out on parole in 6 months. I didn't even go. You know what I mean? So I can't really, blame nobody but myself there. But I mean, that I got so many chances. But then I had a PO where I caught a case, and she violated me within 2 weeks. I did my whole bid before almost the drug certs came back from the lab. That could have been flour. You know what I mean? And the whole time I would have did the bid, it wasn't. You know what I mean? That was what I ended up going upstate for. But
that
still,
sucked.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
How am I
exactly.
violate? Just by getting arrested is enough to violate you, even if that's something
Which
that
is
you end up
crazy.
beating.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
crazy.
it was messed up too because
Innocent until proven guilty is not factual at all.
Because at least if she would have did what he did and just kept continuing, I would have got all that credit. I had a year in. That's why I ended up doing like 4 years. I had a year for probation that I had to do, and I only got like the 2 weeks before she violated me, and then like the month after until I finally got sentenced. So I got a year in, and I got like 60 days jail credit. I'm like, damn, man, I would have been so much closer. You know what I mean? To getting out.
That shit sucks.
But whatever, everything happens for a reason. So. But you do end up completing that probation. You went to Nashville. What's like that experience like in Nashville Street? Would you say 30 days?
Yeah, it was 30 days. I mean, I was in and out of Nash from that point on until I was off probation. It all depended on where you were and who you knew.
Did you end up going to the Bay at all or no?
Later on, I went to I had caught another case while on probation. I was on probation from like 19 till I was like 22, 23, maybe even longer than that.
On paper, right? They say.
And I caught a case. Me and my younger brother got in a fist fight, and I don't even remember
with
who.
each other.
It was probably me, yeah. And I pushed my mother through a door, and they called the cops. I dipped out of my house, and then they caught up with me, and my PO violated me. And then I got found guilty at court, and I think I got 18 months.
18 months?
Yeah, and then I went to the Bay, and I was on 3-2 the whole time.
Okay. And then you get out, you free, no probation after you do that county bit?
No, I got out. I still had 2 years or a year and a half.
Did you finish that probation?
Yeah, I did. I ended up finishing that probation. And then that was like 2011, 12, like 2013, I think.
Okay. And then how long until you catch that case that brings you upstate?
My son Jack was born in 2011. So, no, in 2014. So the year after I got off probation. And then I stayed out of trouble for a couple years. And then...
So you catch this new case?
That night happened, and then...
So, yeah, what happens from there? Do you end up having a sit trial in jail? Do you get a bail since you don't get probation? Or?
So, no, I didn't get a bail. They indicted me right away because I went on the run. I was trying to go down to Florida to go to my grandfather's. Mm-hmm. And my phone. They pinged my phone. I was in, like, upstate New York on 87 or something like that. And bro, me and the girl are driving, and all of a sudden, I'm like, the highway's empty out of nowhere. It was weird, bro. It was something out of a movie.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see like a bunch of cars like in the distance in the rearview mirror, and then they start to stagger into a V on the highway. There was like 12 of them.
Wow.
I was like, fuck, bro. All blacked out sedans. I'm like, they're going to pull us over. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, are you kidding me? They blocking the whole entire highway right now.
We're the only ones out here.
Yeah, we're the only ones here for the past like 20 minutes. Boop, lights go on.
Damn.
We pull over. Rifles drawn, people jumping up over the barricades on the side with
Always
guns
so
drawn
extra.
on us, all this crazy shit. Come to find out, her ex-boyfriend called. They were already looking for me,
Right.
but he called and said I was holding her at gunpoint. I never had a gun. It was all a bullshit
that's why
lie.
they did all that extra
Yeah,
stuff.
so they didn't even have the warrant for the arson yet.
Wow.
So they used that to hold me. They corroborated our stories and was like, this girl's not in danger for her life. You know what I mean?
So
they
this
went
is New Hampshire?
No. I was in upstate New York.
Oh, New York.
Because
Yeah,
we were
New
driving
York.
to Florida. So they were getting ready to release us. They let her out of the cruiser. The cop was coming to get me. And as he's coming to get me, his phone rings. And they're like, did you let that couple go? And he's like, yeah, we're letting them go right now. He's like, don't let the male go. Don't let the male go. I can hear this dude yelling
Right.
over the phone. And I'm like, fuck, bro. I was like,
that's when you
oh,
knew you were
man. He rolls down the window. He's like, you got to stay with us for a minute. I'm like,
Man.
fuck. And then they sat me in the car at the gas station that we were pulled off at, and he was like, Mass got a warrant for you for arson, but New York's not going to extradite you. They have so much time to come get you.
Right.
They got me at 11:59 p.m. They came and got me. I went to Broome County or some shit. Some fucking
Damn.
crazy ass fucking upstate New
Wait,
York
New York.
jails are crazy, bro.
So was it like jail, or you just in the police station?
Nah, I was in jail. They sent me to one of the state prisons where they hold
Wow.
people that
So
are
what was
waiting to be
that setup
extradited.
like? Were you in a dorm? Did you get a
Yeah,
cell?
it was a huge dorm.
Huge dorm?
Huge dorm. It was where like pretrial guys were and
Yeah.
like just like overflow really for the jail
Right.
or the prison or whatever. But
So
Yo, I was
upstate New York,
coming-
you got like a lot of Syracuse guys, like Buffalo guys?
yeah,
or
Buffalo, Syracuse, wherever the hell Broome County was. So yeah, they come. They had till midnight the day they came to get me. They
Wow.
got there at 11:59, and as long as they were checked in, they could take me.
That's crazy.
I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was up all night. I was like, "They ain't coming." I was like, "I'm Gucci." They're gonna because they were gonna release me. That they
I mean,
release
the
you.
closer you get to it, you're like,
They
word.
release you the next day if they don't come and get you after they send the
Wow.
stuff to come get you, and they can't. I was fucking pissed.
Damn. So where did they take you? You go right to
I went
Suffolk?
to no. They took me to the Haverhill Police Department.
Oh, okay.
That's where the detectives were out of because that's where the
Gotcha.
fire was.
Okay.
There wasn't even a fire actually,
Right.
but yeah, I sat at the police station. Then they brought me to Middleton.
Middleton, and then you
Yeah,
sit there.
Essex County.
Do you get like? Is it like a dangerousness hearing?
I had a
Like,
dangerousness hearing. They held me dangerous. So then I
how
had
long
90
did they-
days.
90?
Yeah, 90 days dangerous. They were going to revisit it. No bail. 90 days comes up. I get a bail. It was like $65,000 or something like that. I was like,
Jeez.
yeah, I'm not bailing out.
Might as well be 65 mil. That's
Yeah,
what
for
I
real.
said.
They might as well. You know what I mean? So I was like, whatever. So ride it out. They had already had me indicted, but they were so backed up in court or something like that, so I had to wait. I was in county for like 6 months before I pled out, which is kind of short, but yeah, and I was just.
So
I
what's
was
so
chilling.
you plead out? What's the sentence? You plead out to 5 years? How's it work?
So we went back and forth with the DA for a while. They were trying to get like 15, 20, 25 years.
That's
and
crazy.
then, because I think the max on arson of a dwelling, which the official charge was, is 25 years. And took a recess, came back. They showed new evidence, and it was the kid to testify because he was supposed to show up in the beginning, and he never did. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, like, let him come in, like, he's here, like, you know what I mean? And they had text messages from both of us because he gave the cops his phone and shit, and it was a wrap from there. The judge was like, I spoke, and then the judge was like, basically Thought the DA's request was absurdly
Bit much for a plea. That's
lot.
the max.
Yeah, especially because there was like
what
it
you get when
even
you blow trial.
says in the police report that there was so minimal damage done that they couldn't even charge me a penny for restitution.
Wow. Yeah.
So like the fight went out on its own before the fire department even got there. 'Cause I'm a
They want to
charter.
give you 25
Yeah.
years. That's crazy.
So nothing burnt, bro. It was all because he testified and said he was afraid of his life.
Yeah.
And I had like a stupid assault pass. So
Yeah,
that's what. And the judge was like, we asked for 3 in a day. He gave me 4 to 6. He guaranteed me out in 4. Which I was like, I don't know how they can do that because once you're in the DOC, they don't have
That's up to
control
the parole
over that.
board,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So yeah, then I go back to Middleton. I got a stay of execution for 30 days to get like stuff in order.
Yeah.
To let everybody know like where I was gonna be and whatever. And yeah, then I went to Walpole.
And so you get up to Walpole. What's that experience like?
It's a fortress. Walpole was
Is it intimidating rolling up? Just
rolling up. If you've never been upstate before, absolutely, because it's closed now. There's nobody
Yeah, I
there
know,
now. But that's actually a funny story too. I was the last person to walk out of the wall.
Really?
Out the wall, yeah.
The very last person?
Yeah.
So talk about that. So you're there, what, for classification?
So yeah, so you go to Walpole you went to Walpole for classification, but you could also do your time there. But like it was weird, like how because I wanted to stay in Walpole and do the license plate program because I was like, I only have 6 years at a max, so like you know what I mean. There was guys there doing 20 life bids,
Right.
So, but like class was weird, like how they classed you, like they picked and chose who they were gonna keep there. So I was like, whatever. But yeah, it was an experience going through when the van pulled up to the wall. And, like, I remember seeing it in movies.
Yeah.
And, like, bro, the wall's huge. It looks like the wall of China to you and me. You know what I mean? Like, it's enormous. And then you pull in, and it's just, like, this big bunch of buildings and cod shacks and fucking dogs everywhere.
Crazy.
And it was, like, then you walk in, and it's so old. It's, like, an old school prison. Like, the doors still have bars. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like how newer
new
prisons
age,
are built
yeah.
these days. You know,
Right.
they look
They're
like fucking Alcatraz to me. I've
Yeah,
never been
right.
upstate before.
Yeah.
So I walk in and I'm like, oh my god, bro, my fucking
Did you know anybody when
stomach
you
fell
got
out
there?
of my fucking ass.
Did you know anybody when you got there? Was
When
it
I
good
got
see
to
a
intake, no.
familiar face?
When I was
No.
in intake, no. From intake, I went to, I don't even remember how because they changed the blocks around from the time I was there to the time I got out. They were completely different. But I think it was the B side was the medium side, and then the A side was the maximum side. I forget, but I was on the medium. I was in greens.
Okay.
The other side was grays, I think.
So then what happens?
walk
so
in-
they hear you hear one day, or is it talkings that the place is closing down? When do you know that's going on?
So that was at the end of my bid. So I'll tell
okay.
you about that in a minute. So I go through intake. I go see the nurses and stuff like that, HSU, whatever. I walk into the block, and I hear this voice that I like faintly recognized, and I was like, "No way, dude!" I was like, "There's no way this kid is here. This kid, Maddie." And I'm walking in, and all of a sudden I keep hearing it. And I'm like, "Yo, that's Maddie." I was like, "I know his voice. He got a wicked high pitch, but like deep voice." So then I see him, and I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" I'm like, "I know somebody."
Yeah.
Like
It's a good feeling.
I was in and out of Nashua Street and Middleton with him my whole life, and like he's been upstate mad time, so I'm like, and he's respected, so I was like, you know what I mean, like, oh, I'm straight. So I see him, and I see a couple other people that like I heard of or like saw passing by in county and stuff like that, and it was all right. I mean, I was at Walpole for 6 months before I got classed, sent to another camp, and then it wasn't that bad for me. And then like as like I got into a routine, it was the same thing when I was in juvie. I was like, I could do this. Like, this ain't bad. Like I had my moments where like I'd sit in my fucking cell and cry and shit and like think about, because I had a fucking kid, you know what I mean? He was only
tough.
2.5.
Yeah.
And yeah, so from there, from Walpole, I got classed to Concord. I went to Concord, and they were in the process of still emptying Concord, which was crazy because there's only J building and the L buildings are open.
Yeah, my brother was one of the last people there because he was in the school program over there, so they stayed like the longest. I think.
So all the new guys that went there, all of them went to the hole.
Wow.
Like we had normal recs and stuff like that, but like it was like there was nobody, like when we were out, it was only the people that were new that had just got classed that were out. So it's like I didn't know anybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was like the only white kid there that went on that bus trip that I went on.
And then how long are you in Concord?
So I was in Concord for like 3 months. No, I was in Concord for 3 months. They reclassed a bunch of us to either Norfolk or Gardner that had like medium points.
Yeah.
I went to Gardner, and in the bus, there's this other older dude sitting next to me, older white dude. And I'm like, oh, man, bro, I'm going on camp with a bunch of skinheads. I got a 2.5-year-old at home, like, you know, all this shit. Then my childhood starts coming up, like, all this shit happened to me. I'm going to end up turning this into a life bid.
Right.
So I'm talking to the guy next to me who's done mad time, older guy. He was like 60, 70. And he's talking to me. He's like, bro, he's like, if you're trying to stay out of trouble and fall back, he goes, you will love this place. He goes, they got gardens. They got fucking outside all day, winter, summer. You do whatever you want. You can go to other people's buildings and chill with your boys. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like maybe like he's like, yo, just ignore him. He's like, they're the majority in that camp, the sex offenders and like the people that can't live nowhere else. Like Gardner at one point was the safest prison in the world. Yeah, you know what I mean? They sent people from the feds there to hide them. Wow. So I didn't know that. And there's a lot of solid dudes there. You know what I mean? Especially now, because like they had this whole thing in 2000 right after COVID, they classed a bunch of dudes, like serious dudes from the Max to Gardner. Okay. And the whole camp changed. Yeah. And it was so back to the first day there, I walk in, bro, it looked like a college campus with a fence around it.
Right. That's crazy.
Like gardens with because I got there in September, so it was still nice out. Yeah. Gardens with roses and tulips and fucking, then you had gardens up here with watermelon growing and zucchini and shit. I was like, what this is prison, bro?
That's crazy.
I was like, are you
take
kidding
that stuff
me?
And cook with it and stuff?
Yeah. If you know somebody in the garden or you get your own plot,
so
what
so that's like part of a programming thing? What other programs did they have there available?
When I was there, they had the dog program, the garden, they had the wheelchair shop. That ended up closing while I was there, and then they did the welding shop. Welding.
Bobbin school?
Get your welding. Yeah, they had Bobbin school. The big one was welding, and they had what college? You could get your bachelor's degree from.
Oh wow.
Not BC. BC was at Norfolk. I think it was SNU. I think it was SNHU. Okay. You could get your bachelor's
Southern
degree.
New Hampshire University.
Yeah. I forget which. It was one. It was. I know it was a New Hampshire-based college.
What kind of programming or education did you do?
I did school. I failed the GED 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. 3 times.
Did you even try?
Nah, I did, but like after the second time, I was like, "Fuck this."
You only got to get it once, though. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean. And I was like, "Fuck this." Like whatever. I'll do it when I get out. That never happened. But. Yeah, I did that. I did. I worked in the kitchen for like a week. Hated it. Left.
What was the good time situation at this point? Are you able to get up
maxed
to 15?
Out? You were maxed out.
Or whatever
it
was.
You get 15. Yeah, it was maxed out. It had just changed.
Yeah.
In 2018, I think, is when they changed it.
I left in
to
2011.
15.
I was doing enough to get 10.
Yeah, but you were only getting 10 days. Yeah.
No, I was only getting 7.5. I was doing enough to get 10.
Yeah.
Because I had just so many things going on, but I only got 7.5.
You walked in the door in Gardner, and you immediately got 15 days off your sentence because they gave you 15 days for the intro to whatever the hell they had.
So what else are you doing with your time while you're there?
So,
are you anything positive? Are you getting in trouble? Staying out of trouble for the most part?
So, a lot of weird shit happened when I was at Gardner. Bad shit, good shit. My first year there was chaotic because I ended up seeing a bunch of people that knew my older brother. kids from Charlestown, kids from Southie, kids from East Boston, you know what I mean, kids from Revere, that I recognize. So, like, I obviously, like, you cling to somebody you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And all good dudes, well, most of them. But I ended up hanging around with them.
And then they get caught up in something.
They get caught up. I started getting caught up. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then Suboxone and K2 was huge there.
Oh, yeah.
And I started smoking crazy K2. I did a sober like here and there, but I didn't like it because it made me sick. Mm-hmm. And bro, smoking K2 like crazy. That shit fucked me up, bro.
That wasn't really prevalent when I was there.
Bro, it was bad. They got this stuff called Cardi B. Would put you
Cardi B.
It would paralyze you.
Really?
I'm no joke. I'm serious. I gotta tell you this. Before all the bad shit that happened to me, one night we're all smoking in the dorm. And that's the other thing. Gardner was all dorms unless you lived in the Lifers building, which was the Thompson Hall, and those were 2-man and 1-man single cells. So we were all in big ass dorms, and like we had pool tables, like you know what I mean. It was crazy.
Yep.
The whole building was smoked out, and the cops were all mad chill there. They were like old cops from the Max and stuff like that, and they didn't give a fuck about nothing.
Right.
If you were a Skinner, don't go near them. You know what I mean? You needed something else like anyone else. If you were good, you could get it. You know what I mean? And there was so they were flooding that place. Damn. The COs up there, bro. Mad of them got arrested for it too.
Yeah.
But this one night I'm smoking. I took way too big of a hit. 20 minutes went by. It was count time. I was trying to get off my bunk, bro, and I got stuck. My boy had to come over. I was stuck like this. My boy had to come over and straighten my leg out and stand me up, bro, to stand me up. And the CO, Whitaker at the time, for a CO, he was cool. He knew what we were doing. He used to let dudes get tattooed and everything. Yeah. He wouldn't care. And he came in. He looked at me. He goes, "Maloney, just go to bed right there on the floor." I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Damn.
But yeah, that was like like 3-4 months in.
Did you get in any trouble for any of that?
Yeah,
stuff?
we all went to the hole. We all went to the hole. Everyone got urine. We all failed, but they couldn't test for K2. But they got it. Something popped up. Something makes one of your levels high. I forget which one it was, and they got us off of it. We all did 30 days in the hole.
Damn.
And the hole up there at that time sucked.
Do you get a cellmate?
No, it's all single.
Okay. What sucked about? I mean, the whole
it was
generally
just,
sucks anyway.
The whole sucks, but like it was like you're in the medical building, which is in Thompson Hall, and it's this little wing. So like if 30 of you had to go to the hole, they'd rotate who went to. They'd be like, all right, you're gonna stay out for another 10 days, and then you're going to the hole.
Wow.
Like, it's great because there was only 8
much.
cells, and they were all singles.
You got like a stay at execution.
And if they had somebody from HSU
come in
that was coming in and they did something crazy, the people that had to live in the back in HSU, which was only like 4 or 5 people, but they would have to use the cells in the hole. So then it was like there was only 8 cells, and they're all singles. Yeah. So it was 30 days, like whatever goes by. It sucked. Like I started to read a lot when I went to the hole the first time, and then I read a lot throughout my bid because I was in the hole a lot.
Yeah.
But that was like when I thought it wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean? Fast forward to like towards the end of the first year, it got crazy. It was like there was a lot of diversity. Like it was all over drugs or something stupid. And the kids that I was hanging out with were like, they were like well known in the prison system. Like a couple of them were tool bags, you know what I mean? But a couple of them like were doing life bids, and they just keep rotating camps like for murder and stuff like that. So I was like, I thought I was a cool kid, you know what I mean? And I knew mad people from the street from my grandfather. So I used to like, you know what I mean? I used to be what they would call a name dropper when I was like my first year. I was like, you know what I mean? Because I wanted everybody to like me.
Yeah, gotcha.
And over time I grew like to know like that ain't how to like live. Like just be yourself. If somebody doesn't like you for being you, then fuck them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And but yeah, so I got myself into a situation, and I saw this kid steal drugs from my boy's property. And he saw me. He knew I saw him. And he came up to me and he was like, yo, if you tell Tyler, this big black kid, you tell Tyler I took that, blah, 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 I'm going to fucking kill you, all this other crazy shit. And he said he was going to rape me. So when he said that, I was like, bro, what?
That's crazy.
Went and told my boy right away. And he was a big dude, like big. He was an older dude, but he was a big dude, like scary. Like nobody fucked with him.
Right.
And I was like, yo, blah, 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 blah. I told him what happened. He comes over. He goes, beats the shit out of the kid. Goes to the hole.
Damn.
They ship him out to... there was a program in Concord that you could go and do if you were in the hole, and I forget what, if you had more than 30 days. I forget
I
what
think it was in J4.
It was, yeah, it wasn't J4.
Yeah.
It was called the. It was a Spectrum thing.
Yeah.
It was for Spectrum. It was so you could still get good time in the hole before they had like tablets and shit.
Yeah.
So he goes, and while he's gone, the other dudes, that's when I found out the other dudes were all like just followers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for the one other kid that I knew from the street that I was there with. Like he stood by me, but like he was like a little stocky kid like me.
A lot
you know
of
what I
times
mean?
too, people are faking it till they make it.
Yeah,
you know?
they were faking it. They were all getting free drugs out of it. They were all getting free drugs out of it.
That's crazy.
They didn't do anything wrong to me, but like they just weren't there when I needed them.
It's just sad because I feel like if you can't stay sober on the inside, you're gonna have a real tough time on the outside,
bro.
man.
Yeah, it's great. And
so
drugs are expensive in prison.
Right, and it's out here. Everything's so accessible. All these addictions. I mean,
It's
even
crazy,
weed.
bro.
I
Weed,
mean,
yeah,
but it's so accessible. It's expensive.
Yeah, it's
you
crazy,
could gamble
bro.
on your phone. You could buy weed and have
Crazy,
shit delivered.
bro.
You know,
Bro, they were
everything's
selling
so
strips.
accessible.
They were
You gotta
selling
have
strips when I was in
willpower.
Walpole. They were selling strips as a boxing for $1,000.
Yeah, I think it went down now though because
Yeah, it's
people,
like 100 or something.
Well,
now.
I think people are getting
Yeah,
them
they're
now.
free.
Yeah,
They
prescribed
give
or
them to
whatever
you.
the hell.
Yeah, because they
however
got the
get
MAT
it.
program.
That's what it's called.
MAT, yeah.
So the price of that probably went
But yeah,
down a lot.
so this kid comes.
Do you stay in Gardner for the rest of your bid?
For the rest of my bid, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got sent to Concord twice to do that Spectrum program in J4,
okay.
but then they send they don't.
And then they send you
Once
back.
they send you there, you get stuck there.
Yeah.
Unless you like stab the shit out of somebody
Right.
and like they med flight them. Like
So if you didn't get in trouble, would you have a chance to go to a minimum
Yeah, I
or
coulda-
something, and
so-
you messed all that up?
So, I was in the dog program when I was at Gardner. For 18 months, I completed it. And the girl in the dog program was friends with somebody like higher up in Milford, the head of the DOC or whatever. And they got it so that when I came up for a class board, I could go to a minimum because it's a case-by-case basis with arson charges. Everybody thinks you can't go to a minimum if you got an arson. You can, but it's on a case-by-case basis. So like they look at the damage, they look at like they read the police report, they look at actually what happened. They were like, this kid didn't even fucking do anything.
Right.
Like, he's been like a little menace, but like, you know what I mean? Like he hasn't really
Right.
done anything significant to hold him back from that. So, but I ended up not getting minimum points because of stupid shit.
That happens.
So, back to that story I was telling you. The kid comes out of the hole and he's looking for me. Everybody's telling me, like, yo, this kid's looking for you. This kid's looking for you. So I'm like, fuck him, bro. He's in a different building. Like, I'm chilling. Like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? At this point,
Cross that bridge when we get there. Too.
Yeah,
We're
at this
stress
point,
about
it was like, because there was a lot of COs there. And at this point, the kid was like worrying about his own shit. Like, because he was doing his own shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, I forgot about it. Man, a couple weeks later, this kid gets moved into the building. All his boys live upstairs in the building that I was in. I was downstairs.
Yeah, that sucks.
Bro, I'm like, fuck, man. I go to the showers one day without my boy. They beat the shit out of me. Bad.
Shower shoes and
It was
everything?
bad, bro. I was beat out of me. Butt ass naked, bro.
That's
They came in
crazy.
fully clothed. One of them tried to assault me, and I could say that like strongly because it's like it fucked me up, like because it almost happened. Like it was close to happening. And like all his boys were like, I'm like, yeah. I'm turning around and I'm like, yo, what are you guys all fucking gay, bro?
Right,
like,
yeah.
what's wrong with
I
you?
know.
Are you serious, dude? Some of them had like,
Why is that where you wanna
year,
go,
bro.
you know, with the tough guy shit?
Someone had like a year, bro.
Just
Like,
beat
oh,
me
I'm
up.
gonna rape you.
Yeah.
Like, what, dude? Just beat the shit out of me and send me to the hospital. Why are you
Yeah,
gonna do all
that's
crazy shit? Like, you know what I
weirdos.
mean?
Yeah.
But I was scared at that time. I was scared. I was petrified, bro. I was crying.
Yeah,
like,
outnumbered. Strength in numbers,
yeah,
too.
bro,
I don't
there
care how
was
tough
five
you
of
are.
them, and a couple of them were pretty big kids. And so I was like, bro, fuck this, bro. They beat the shit out of me. I stayed in the shower. My boy happened to come downstairs and be like, yo, what the fuck happened? I didn't tell him right then. He helped me clean up and shit like that. Made it so my face was swollen, bro.
Yeah.
I went and laid in bed. They ended up coming to get me. There was a big investigation.
Yeah.
They cleared. I told them that I fell in the shower. They didn't believe me, so they held me in the hole for 90 days. Meanwhile, all these kids are out running around, and then my boy had no idea.
Right.
So I'm sitting in the hole. They come. They're like, do you feel safe to stay here? And I'm like, yeah. Like, whatever. And right as I said that, I seen this kid Bobby, and this other dude Johnny that I knew from when I was in the Bay, like from when I was younger.
Yeah.
And they walked in and they were getting put in the hole for HSU. And I was like, bro, what? And Johnny like was my boy when I was in South Bay.
Yeah.
Like I was a little runt when I was in South Bay, my first bid, and like he not protected me, but like no one fucked with me.
Right.
And he taught me mad like prison etiquette.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
A lot of times
like,
that's all it is too. You don't violate those unwritten
yeah, he
rules.
was like,
But if
and
you
nothing
don't know
will
them,
happen. You know what I mean? So, and like he helped me with that. So I'm like, yeah, I feel safe. I signed the waiver to go back in the pop. As I'm leaving, he recognizes me. He's like, TJ, because everybody called me TJ when I was younger, because I'm a junior. And I was like, yo, what up, Johnny? I was seeing you come in. And he's like, you all right here? And I'm like, yeah. My face was like still like yellow, but it wasn't as swollen anymore. Like I was there for fucking 3 months. And I was like, I'll tell you when you come out, because I felt comfortable talking to him.
Right.
The other kid that I was with, I just saw in and out of county. I didn't really talk to him on a personal level.
Yeah.
But he had my back a bunch of times. So I was like, whatever. So I go back to the A building, which was like when you got like recycled or whatever, like you'd have to start over. You'd start
like
over.
an orientation kind of.
Yeah,
like,
orientation building. Like you'd start over there, no TV, like shit like that. And I told my boy at Chow what happened. And he thought I was kidding at first, and then like I literally almost started crying, and I was like shaking, and he was like, yo, come on, let's go for a walk. Yeah. And he was like, yo, that really fucking happened to you? And I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah. Yo, and Johnny came out, and then Bobby came out from being up the hill at HSU. We sat down, and I told them, and the kid Bobby was part of he was from New Hampshire, but he did a lot of time in Mass. He was part of that Bow Brothers of White Warriors. It's kind of like a Boyo version up in New Hampshire, I guess. Okay, yeah. And he was a big dude, like big older dude, like tattoos all over his head, big. Like he was a problem. Like he was trying to like. He got classed down because he was in the max at the time, and he got classed down because he was trying to go home. Yeah, you know what I mean. After doing a lot of time. So the second he heard like what almost happened to me, he was like, because I guess something happened to his daughter back in the day, and he went to prison for doing something to the dude, which is crazy. Right. Absolutely wild.
Yep.
They told me to stay in the building. All 5 of the dudes that jumped me that night in the shower got shipped out the next day. I don't know what the fuck happened. I know one of them went to the hospital, and then it was just let alone. Yep. So then I'm like, all right, I'm Gucci the rest of my bids. So I started to like calm down, and like I started reading a lot. Yeah. And
yeah, you can actually work on yourself instead of worrying about like fighting and survival and all that shit.
People would try and punk me off all the time, and it's like, bro, like if you swing on me, like we can fight. Like you can call me whatever you want, bro. Like at the end of the day, like I didn't tell on nobody. Right. You know what I mean? Like. Exactly. I didn't fucking, like, I had nothing to do with what happened to them 5 dudes, you know what I mean? So, then COVID hits.
Oh, what was that like?
Oh, bro, worst camp to be in was Gardner.
What? So, what do they do?
Because you're all in dorms, so if somebody's going to get it, everyone's getting it.
Yeah.
All the COs stayed there for, like, months on end, like, they wouldn't go home. Damn. Cause like
did you end up getting COVID at all?
State lock, yeah, every single person in the camp got it. Jeez. So COVID was fucked up because they tried to force us to take the shots, and if we didn't, they were going to ship us out.
Weren't
or
they
put us in the hole.
incentivizing good time too for that?
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's like using someone's desperation.
Yeah, like
to
bro,
force,
what?
Yeah. Because I think some people would literally, like, say you got 10 years and you talk about take a pinky, right, and let me get out in 5. I'm going to seriously consider that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about 10, but 15, you know I mean? I consider you taking my pinky. The numbers are
but you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'd do it. I'd consider it,
Consider it, absolutely.
I would consider it.
100%.
I probably wouldn't.
Who wouldn't, bro?
So it's like they're using a bad situation to take advantage of people and push their
So it was really
agenda.
bad because when the state locked down, the prisons all got locked down. So if you were in a cell, you couldn't come out. But the thing about being in a cell is that it's you and your cellie.
Yeah.
So the chances of you catching it ain't as high as someone in a dorm. And that happened. That's what happened. Sousa, not everyone in Sousa got it, and not everyone in Concord got it. Norfolk and Gardner are open concept camps. Yeah. And both camps got completely shut down.
How was your experience? Did you get real sick with it, or just a carrier?
I have asthma, and it fucked up my breathing bad. One of my lungs ended up collapsing.
Oh my god!
Which was weird. How it even happened, I don't even really know. But they fixed me. They sent me out. They fixed me, and it was. Bro, oh my god.
Damn, that's bad.
People were dying left and right at Gardner. Really? Yeah, I think like 12 people died.
Was it mostly the older people?
Yeah, mostly the older people. One younger kid, not like he was like 40. But yeah, they all had underlying shit before that anyways, but it killed them 100%.
Wow. That's sad.
But it was crazy cuz like the cops like did not want to help you like cuz so each dorm has its own door. And it's enclosed, so it's like a big cell, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And they would not unlock those doors unless food was coming into the dorm for us to eat, or you had to go to the HSU.
So, all right. So you guys are already all together, right? Pretty much in a dorm.
Yeah, I mean,
but do they let you out to the yard and the gym and all that stuff?
Nothing.
That makes no sense if you guys are already all together.
Nothing. For 8 months.
You know?
For 8 months.
Wow.
8 months straight. They didn't let us do any of that. Shit started like they did video visits. They implemented video visits. So like you'd go into an enclosed room.
Oh yeah, they started that during COVID and they kept it.
And then they put phones on all our tablets and set times. So like it was, you had communication and shit, but you didn't have your visits and stuff and but it was crazy because it's like the COs didn't really care, but at the same time they did, but then again they didn't because, bro, there became a point after like 3 months, bro, we were making homebrew. Everybody was drinking. Captains were doing walkthroughs and the sergeants were doing walkthroughs and not even saying shit. Like,
so how did that work out with you? With you being not the best drinker, did you ever get any?
Did I have some of the?
Did you have some drinks while you were there?
Some of the devil juice. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Every day for like 4 months.
Did you get in trouble?
So at that time they couldn't. If your dorm was designated a COVID dorm and you all had COVID, they couldn't bring you up to HSU or put you in the hole because you'd be susceptible to infecting other people. So yeah, I got in trouble. I got good time taken away. I got put on restriction for like the phone and stuff, but they really couldn't do a lot to you because like they put this one dude in the hole for he freaked out on a cop, spit in his face and shit.
Oh yeah,
which is like really bad. Like that's like attempted murder, the same thing. You could
I'd rather someone punch me in the face and spit in my face. You know what I mean? That's gross.
So they sent him to the hole. Yo, this dude called his family. They got in touch with the news and they had to release him from the hole. Yeah, because it was like a safety issue for him, and I think he had stuff wrong with his breathing and stuff too. But it was we got in trouble, and then they started to slowly open the camp, and it was like pandemonium. Like, bro, it was crazy. Like you would think that the people that were around you like forgot that like the outside existed.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was crazy, bro. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That's what happens when you do that to people, lock people up.
Yeah,
like
it happened to me. It happened to me. I was freaking out.
Then you don't know how to handle stuff.
And they but yeah, so a bunch of us refused to get the COVID shot. So when they opened the camp out, like we refused at the beginning.
Yeah.
When they started to slowly, like they would let each building one at a time go out for an hour, stuff like that. When they started doing that, we couldn't go outside.
Right. Wow.
And a lot of us still had other restrictions, like no canteen. Like I lost canteen for like 90 days, the last 90 days of the
So
lockdown.
talk about those last, 6 months or 90 days or so, right? You start getting short. Your mind starts going to the outside.
So
you start developing a plan. Like, what's going through your head?
So I got paroled in 2021. I only made it 3 months, and I went back to Walpole. So I ended up wrapping up completely from Walpole.
Okay, so what happens? You get out after doing all that time.
So I did all that time. I went through all that shit and went and saw the parole board. And at that point in time, when I was getting ready to see the parole board, like I was in mad programs. Like I was falling back. Like there wasn't really drama happening. You know what I mean? Like it was just chill. The parole board said I was up for parole, go through all this. They said I had to complete a couple of programs. I did them. I went and saw the board. They all have to agree unanimously. And one of the ladies granted me parole, and the other ones were trying to deny me. Mm-hmm. So I had to wait a week, go back and see them. And when I went and saw them, they all agreed to give me the parole, and I had to get like a sober house and all this other stuff. But it was. I got out, lasted 3 months. I don't even remember how I violated parole.
Mm-hmm. Were you still in that sober house, a halfway house?
Yeah, I was in a halfway house in Chelsea, and I violated, and then.
So what's going through your head on your way back to prison now? You're like,
damn, I'm in the car.
That went by quick. 3 months now. I'm back.
It did, bro, because I had just did 5 years. Because technically I did 6 years.
Right.
So I had just did 5, a couple days short of 5 straight.
Yeah,
so I was like, what the fuck, bro? I was like, how am I getting out right now? So then I go back. I'm like, okay, whatever. I just got out. Like, I'll be straight.
Right.
And then I found out that I was staying at Walpole, and I didn't know anyone there. Mm. So I was like, fuck, man.
See,
and then
you got what you wish for.
I get stuck.
All those years before.
I get stuck at Walpole, and it was at the time where they started sending everybody everywhere. Like, they were classing out everyone because they were trying to close the prison.
Yeah.
Staff, there was only like six blocks open in the whole prison.
Does time start to slow down when the camp starts to get, real sparse?
Yeah,
it's not people around.
Quiet. It was quiet. There was like no drama. There wasn't like
because people a lot of times that's what makes the time pass.
Yeah, it was like a free for all. Like but the chow hall was closed.
Oh, so you got
couldn't
fed
go
on
to
the
the
block.
chow hall, so you got fed on the block. I think because they closed all the chow halls after COVID.
Okay.
The chow hall never opened back up when I was in Gardner until I think the week before I left.
Really?
And it was segregated. It was still blocked.
How long did you spend? You were out for 3 months. How long did you spend at Walpole? Another year or so?
Yeah, like 8 months. They ended up maxing me out. Like I wasn't in any programs, but they maxed me out. They gave me whatever they could for good time, like just to push me out because they weren't gonna class me to a camp for me to do a month there. You know what I mean?
Stupid,
so it was like, I think it was like 8 months or something, or 6, 7. Maybe 7 months.
So did you get out to any probation?
Nope, nothing.
No probation.
Wrapped up.
Straight wrap.
Yeah, wrapped up.
So I mean, that's a lot of time, man. I mean, what are some things that you learned about yourself during that experience?
Jesus, a lot. I learned that, it's not. One of the most important things I learned was how you carry yourself, because somebody can tell something about how you carry yourself from a mile away. Like instantly they'll know if you're all right or not. And I did a lot of stupid shit when I was locked up. I did a lot of good shit when I was locked up. You know what I mean? Yep. And that was the biggest thing, like how I changed my character, like for the positive. Like I wanted to like do good and like not like, I was like this. A lot of people are like, this is the life I want to live, and they're in and out of prison their whole life until they get that life bid. And like, I didn't want to do that. And I haven't. I've been out for almost 3 years, or no, a little more than 3 years now. Yeah, 22.
That's what's up. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I am, and it's hard because like I'm still institutionalized like with certain shit, and one of the things is like following every single law. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard not to drive, especially when you need to get to and from work.
Right.
And I
That's
got
tough.
an almost 18-month-old daughter now, and my son's 10. You know what I mean? I got a good relationship with both of them, so it's like I have to rely on other people to bring them to me.
Do they not do like a Cinderella license no more? Do you not
I don't qualify for a Cinderella license because all I owe is money.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, because I asked, I said, "Can you just give me a Cinderella? Like, I literally just need to drive to work."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No," because I need them to lift the hold so I can get my stuff in New Hampshire. And they're like, "You don't qualify for one." And I'm like, "How do I not qualify for one? What do you mean?"
Yeah,
they're like, "You owe money. You don't have like a bunch of
suspended
OUIs. You don't have a suspended like you know what I mean? It's just
so you don't
not
have
valid.
you don't have these things that are worse than owing money.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you know what I mean? How does that even make sense, bro?
It doesn't.
It doesn't at all. It's like, are you serious right now? So, all right, let me go out, drink and drive, and get another OUI, and then I'll qualify. And like, they don't say
That's
but
crazy.
it's basically like, yeah, you would. Like,
Man,
so
their
it's-
hands are tied, man.
Yeah, it's
I don't
crazy.
know. But I mean, you go to registry. It's not their fault. They're trying to go by the law.
Yeah,
it's the
no, it has
legislation
nothing to
that
do
has
with the
go.
people in the
Yeah,
registry.
but they just suck though most of the time.
Yeah,
they don't
they
have
do
no
suck. They suck.
customer service. That's what
Yeah.
happens when you got a monopoly, right? You don't have to have customer service.
Yeah,
That's what I always say. But like, we got movies, music, a lot of these things that will glorify the life of crime and glorify prison. So I like to just ask, like, what are some of the bad things about being locked up, bro?
Besides everything,
What's the worst thing then?
No, you know what? Prison can be a good thing for a lot of people. A lot of people need that segregation and that segregated lifestyle where they lose their freedom to realize, like, if they're gonna do something good with their life or not. You know what I mean? And a lot of important people have done a lot of time and they've changed their lives. You know what I mean? Like look at Johnny Bott. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He's doing great.
He's a
look at people,
pillar in his community.
Even
you know
people
what I mean?
like Bernard Hopkins. He was locked up.
Yeah, he was locked. You know what I mean? And
you
a
learn
lot of
from
them
it.
dudes have serious stuff that they went away for, and they completely turned their lives around.
Absolutely.
And it's the worst thing can be how you take your time in your mind. It's like, if you go to jail thinking like you're gonna be king shit and all this other stuff, like 9 times out of 10 you're gonna end up there for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If you go to prison, you're like, you know what? This is gonna take me out of the society for a while. Like, it'll give me a chance to work on myself. You know what I mean? You got plenty of time to study or do whatever you need to do. It can be a good thing, but I mean, like, obviously at the end of the day, like, don't ever do anything to get yourself in trouble to the point where you have to go to prison. But if there's people in that situation that are facing prison time, like, really sit back and think about it and, like, be like, yo, like, I'm going to face however many years you're going to face, and be like, you literally can make it a great thing and something that defines you to change, or you could just let prison take your life over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's really about how you think about it. Like, there's people that are probably waiting to go do tons of years right now that are probably thinking about, like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like, don't even think about what's gonna happen. Just go in there and, like, put your head down, fall back and do your time. Like, don't be a clown. Like, don't try to be cool like I did. Don't try to, like, don't get yourself in the mix. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Stay solid,
Stay
but,
out
like,
the way.
humble yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you go into prison by yourself, and that's what I didn't realize. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to be in everyone's, like, shit, you know what I mean, corner, and it's like, yo, I went away by myself. Like, none of these people are gonna help me or do anything good for me. Like, there was one dude that, like, took me after, like, all the people that I knew had left and I was getting shorter. Took me under his wing. He was an older biker dude. Huge federal informant. They were hiding him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they were hiding him. He was doing a Fed bid in fucking
crazy.
Gardner State Prison. But he was a big, scary, like, he was a big rat. But bro, he killed mad people with his bare hands, shooting people. Like, he was a serious dude still.
Yeah.
And I didn't even look at any of that. Like, I found that stuff out after I became friends with him, and like, he was like almost like a father figure that I really never had.
Yeah.
And he taught me, like, he never let me fucking get in trouble. Like, he always, like, when people were doing something stupid and I'd be like, oh, I want to go. If someone was smoking K2, he'd be like, don't even, you're an idiot. Why are you gonna do that? And he's a big reason why I changed my mindset. You know what I mean? Like that, like, just be you type mindset. Just
Did your view on your relationship with alcohol, was that something that you addressed while you were in there? Is that something you started to realize? Like,
towards as I started getting shorter and shorter, like the last year I was away, 100%. I like stopped drinking. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is why, like, I ended up here. And like my last year is when I like really opened my eyes and like realized like I had a problem. And then I told my mother on the phone one day about like everything that I've gone through that I never told her. And that it definitely changed my view a lot on drinking, because like I didn't know how to, what's the word, like balance it. Like I didn't know
moderation.
I didn't know how to drink in moderation. Like I didn't know like where my point was, you know what I mean? So it was just like, I don't know, I just had to.
Hey, recognizing it is the only way you're gonna be able to
and that's
address
the
it. You know
biggest step. Like a lot of people today like won't admit it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I have a drinking problem.
Pride and ego.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, bro, once I admitted it, it was clear sailing. It was so easy to not do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like that, you know, getting that rock off your shoulder.
Yeah,
you know
that's what
I mean?
it felt like, bro. It was like
finally addressing it.
Yeah, it was chill. It was.
So you've been out for what, 3 years now?
It's going
so
on
I mean,
3 years,
what advice would you give to somebody who just got out today, bro?
Keep your head down.
Stay out the way.
Stay out the way.
Don't break the law.
Don't break the law. Stay out the way. Don't go back to the old ways that put you in prison or jail. Don't surround yourself with people that you surrounded yourself before when you were getting in trouble or doing whatever you were doing. You know what I mean? Find positive people. Like positivity is a big thing that I go by now.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you don't bring something positive to the table, if you don't advance my life somehow, like spiritually, like and mentally, not like material things, but
add
like
value somewhere.
Add value somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
like, and that's why, like, I mean, you see some of the people that I surround myself with, and they're really fucking good dudes. You know what I mean?
It's important. You are the company you keep too. You know, you hang around with a bunch of people doing the wrong thing all day. I mean, you're gonna get caught up.
Yeah,
eventually.
exactly.
Even
and
if
there's
you're
no
innocent.
way you're not, and there's no way you're fully innocent.
Right,
you know what
Guilty
I mean?
by association.
Yeah.
You know what's going on and all that stuff, man.
Yeah,
we're old
exactly.
enough where we know what we got to do to stay out of trouble. I feel like
at this point in life, it's like you gotta face the music for your life.
Yeah.
You gotta. If there's something bothering you, just talk to somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel like you're going down that road, like, talk to somebody. Because, like, bro, if I had these podcasts and these channels and stuff that all you guys do when I was a kid, if I had that and I was hearing other people's situations, I would have never went to prison. I bet you, like,
this is exactly why I do this. I'm like, I wish I had something like this that
like,
didn't just give me the glorified side.
If you had something like this and you were listening to somebody's story, would you have ever gotten in trouble?
Who knows, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You know,
like,
I can't guarantee it, but I think the chances of me not getting in trouble would have been better.
Yeah,
less to go away, but better to stay out. Yeah. Absolutely. I feel like that's why it's like we're the first generation where it's almost our duty to do this.
Yeah,
it's like, that's how I
mean?
look at it. This is my duty. You know what I mean? We're the first generation to actually put our stories out there for the next, and hopefully make the world a better place moving forward.
It's not an easy thing, but you gotta just
What are some things you're looking forward to with your freedom going forward, bro, man? Life's a beautiful thing, man. What are you looking forward to with this life?
Watching my kids grow up. I was away
Yeah.
from my son his whole... If I had these podcasts and these channels and stuff that all you guys do when I was a kid, if I had that and I was hearing other people's situations, I would have never went to prison. I was away from my son at the age that my daughter is right now. So, like, I'm getting to watch my daughter grow up. And I got a good relationship with both my kids' mothers. My son's like my best friend now. So, like, that's my big thing is my kids, being able to watch them grow up for the rest of the time that I have, and trying to be a good example and a role model. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my son wants to do construction, and you know what I mean? Like, my daughter's still really young, but she's super smart. And she's like a good girl. You know what I mean?
What's your
So it's
favorite
not
thing about being a father, bro?
My favorite thing about being a dad is probably the smiles when they
Kids are the
see
best,
me.
yeah.
When my son sees me, like, he's 10, he's gonna be 11 in July, and he's like, he's still super excited when he sees me. And you know what I mean? Like, he's like a big cool kid now. So it's like, but I like it because it's cute. He just, his face lights up, and
amazing.
and him and his sister have two different mothers, and they're close, like, because they're brother and sister. And my daughter's eyes when she sees me, like, she's like, dada, like, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
it's fucking, it's the
energy.
best feeling. Yeah, it's just
energy. I don't
it
even
just
have
makes
kids,
me
but
like,
that energy
when I'm upset, like, I look at, call my daughter or my son and just hear the voices, like, it takes me out of my mood. You know
puts
what I
things
mean?
in perspective, I'm sure, too.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
it definitely puts things in perspective, because it's
Sometimes
like,
we think everything's about us, and then I'm sure you have kids, and you're like, maybe it's not all about me.
yeah, it's not at all. It's not, but, like, that's how I live my life. Like I'm trying to get this really big job in for a really good company.
Oh, nice.
Like, so I can give my kids essentially what I was given in the other half that I wasn't given. Like, you know, I don't hit my kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't put my hands on my kids. Like, I tell my son all the time, like, if somebody touches you inappropriately, like, tell me.
Yeah.
But, like, that stuff's scary, bro. The world that we live in today, like, the stuff, like, you see it on the news every other day, something's happening, and they're not giving any of these people time, and it's crazy. And it's like, it's scary, because, like, I contemplate, like, bro, if something happened to one of my kids, like, what, like, something bad's gonna happen to somebody.
And it could be, you could easily justify that to yourself. I mean, maybe not into the courts, but you could justify that to yourself. You know what I mean? The way you react, easy.
That's
and
so
people would understandable.
It's so people, like, it's just I just hope to God that neither one of them go through what I went through.
So you're
when I
looking
was a
forward to
kid.
getting this job, though, right? What are some other goals you have moving forward? Obviously dealing with this registry.
Dealing with the
thing,
registry,
man.
yeah,
Jeez.
that's a big one, and I'm really fighting for it more and more every day. And it's not like I'm not even asking for a handout. Like, I'm just asking for a way.
Right.
You know what I mean? To make it easier to pay.
Yep.
And
see why not? The electric company does it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big, that's probably my number one goal.
Yeah.
And then my kids, but because that's like a big part of how I can be a better father.
Yeah.
And just staying out of trouble, just not being a shitty human.
Yeah.
And helping other people.
good
Like,
things,
I want to
good things
help.
happen, right?
Yeah, I want to help. I want to be able to help other people and get other people to want to talk about if they have trauma, or even just talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want, the world could be such a good place, but it's not, because of the people that are in it don't choose to do the right things at the right time to make it a good place.
So what's the main message that you want people to get from your story?
The main message would be, don't bury the trauma. Don't feel like you're gonna get made fun of, or someone's gonna judge you, because, like, I felt that way, like, for a long time, and it's like, it's a shitty feeling. You know what I mean? Like, people, you just want to stuff it down. Like, you don't need to. Like, there's people out there that have been through what you've been through, and vice versa, and just face the fear and try and talk about it. And if you can, then the other advice would be to just, you know what I mean, like, push through it. Try and push through it. Because like, if I had somebody to tell me that, like, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of me acting out because of the experiences I had. And I mean, I still chose to make all those choices, but...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was, as a child, you know, I had, you know, different trauma and stuff, but I would tend to bottle
Trauma's trauma.
Bottle
at the end
things
of the day.
up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when I was like a young kid, and even the teachers kind of seen like I try to front like everything's okay, but they know, you know, that not
they know
everything
something's
was
wrong,
okay.
yeah.
And especially as a kid, it's okay to talk to people, talk to adults that care, even if it's teachers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone responsible, man. Like you said, someone's gonna understand. We always think that we're the only ones going through stuff.
Yeah, and it's not. That's not how it is. Like, I still think like that sometimes, but like,
I had a friend tell me that once. She's like, you think you're the only one that goes through shit? I was like,
yeah, right. It's like, no, what do you mean?
All right, damn. Would you put it like that?
Like, yeah,
but sometimes we need that.
But because then that's the chance. All right, what are you going
you get
through?
stuck in that
I mean?
victim mentality.
Yeah,
man.
and
You
it's
play the
not-
victim, you stay the victim.
Yeah,
you
it's
can't.
not-
You have to address
You can't move
things,
forward. You can't move forward in life if you don't address stuff.
Yeah,
It's
what are you gonna
not-
do? Live the rest of your life wanting people to feel bad for you, and
or in
stuff like
fear?
that?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not.
And
And,
then
I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. Like, I'm
Right.
not. I didn't come on here for that. Like,
Nah,
I
no
came
doubt.
on here specifically for. I want people. I want to be the voice for somebody else that can't be the voice. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? For themselves. Like, I want whoever you are out there to know that like you ain't the only one that's going through it or went through it. You know?
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's I may never meet the person that I
Right.
helped. You know what I mean?
Who knows?
Talk.
With the internet, it might
Yeah,
be years
I know.
after we're gone. Hopefully, this is still up from now. Who knows?
Yeah, you know what I
if
mean?
there ain't a
So-
World
but-
War III that kills us all by then.
But that ain't even the point. It's the
no,
point
no.
of like just know that there's other people out there that go
sure.
through similar struggles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And prison is not a glorified thing. It's not a cool thing. Like, it's
Right.
not like if you do something and you have to go, then like take
Yeah.
it take it like a man or a woman and do your time. But do something with the time.
Absolutely.
To-
You got to
to-
make the most of
to
a bad
improve yourself,
situation.
you know?
And
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
sometimes people see us, we'll talk about certain things and laugh about things like, oh, it was cool, it was chill. But that's only given the circumstance, right?
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
cool, it's
It's
not
not-
chill. If you anybody who would have the choice to go home, they're all gonna say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
No
it
one's
ain't that
gonna want to
cool.
stay. I mean, there's probably a small majority that are like, nah, I like it in prison.
And,
but
and
like,
it's a small majority that really deserve to be there.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
But I think a lot of times they look at all of us like that when we're not. We shouldn't be lumped in with
no,
those guys
it's
that
not.
are
It's
doing
it's
things
that
to
one
children
bad egg
or
sets
whatever.
a bad
you know?
example for everybody.
For sure.
That's that same saying.
And that's why we have the responsibility to come out and try to, do better with our lives. So hopefully the next generation, they could get their second chances. But when people come out, they come out on life parole and then you kill somebody else. Like, dude, you're messing it up for everybody else,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
There goes that selfishness again.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
exactly.
But I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to touch on or some closing words for the audience, man. I appreciate you coming through, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I don't know, just stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Don't do what everyone else is doing to try and be cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's not cool to commit crimes.
There's
like, it's
plenty
not,
of legal things to
yeah, there's
do
plenty
out
of
there.
legal things to do,
Especially
that are fun.
this day
It's
and
like-
age with
it's like-
technology and everything. I feel
exactly.
like
And I
sometimes
mean,
back in the day we had to do what
if
we
you
had to do.
commit a crime, like if you're gonna commit a crime and you're not gonna be a law-abiding citizen, then I mean, if you're gonna commit the crime, like, make sure you can mentally do the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't go and like tell on people to try and get short of time. Like, just take it on the chin, because you never know. Like, maybe that's maybe you're going for a reason. Like, you could make your time into something really positive for yourself.
Absolutely. It could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But on that
Exactly.
note, thanks again for coming through. Guys, this is the Bounce Back Podcast. Remember, it is what it is. What's next is what you make it. And on that note, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Bounce back and got a moment when they see you down.